Hi, everyone. I'm Pastor Laila and I serve as pastor of lifelong learning here at Shepherd of the Lake Lutheran Church. And welcome back to the digital Advent calendar. Today, we are going to be talking about our values. And our value statement begins with these words, which you'll hear at the beginning of pretty much every worship service. Wherever you are on your faith journey, we will meet you there with open hearts, open minds, and an open table. And I want to focus on the value of open minds for today's Advent reflection. Open-mindedness is really a particularly Advent-y theme when we think about it. Advent is a season of wonder. I Wonder As I Wander is one of the absolute best Advent hymns. I just love it. And what is wonder? What is wonder if not open-mindedness? We have to have an open mind to wonder about things, right? And we see this all over in the Advent story. Take Mary for an example. So for Mary, an angel shows up and says, okay, Mary, here's the deal. You're going to bear a child and it's going to be the incarnation of God, okay? You cool? She's like, what? I mean, can you imagine? And Mary's response isn't like, no way, dude, no way, you're nuts, I'm out of here. She says, how can this be? It's a question full of wonder. And I can only imagine that one must have a fairly open mind to accept that such a thing is even remotely possible. Mary's openness, her willingness to keep her mind open to even the possibility of such a thing happening, is really an act of faith. But the thing is, the faithful posture of open-mindedness does not always come naturally. It doesn't for me anyway. It takes practice. And one of those practices for me is trying on the phrase, I'm surprised, as an initial reaction to things to which I might typically say like, what? So I learned this from one of my absolute favorite professors in seminary, who was my advisor and mentor, the late, great Reverend Dr. Connie Kleingartner. She taught us that a really helpful response to any situation in which we would normally close our minds and throw up our walls and say, what, is not to just throw up the walls and say, what? But instead to simply say, I'm surprised. And that simple phrase leaves us open to wonder, open to exploring the situation, open to maybe learning more. She would say something really off the wall in class, like nothing quite as wild as, hey, you're going to bear the Son of God. Or in Joseph's case, like, hey, about your fiance being pregnant, but like you not really knowing how, like, here's the thing. It's not what you think, okay? Like, what? Like, nothing quite like that. But my professor would make stuff up that would get our attention in class. And then she would ask, what do you have to say to that, class? And we would reply in unison, I'm surprised, from which naturally flows the question, I wonder what this is about. When we approach faith, when we approach life with surprise and curiosity and wonder, in other words, with an open mind, we open ourselves to learning fuller versions of the story. And we open ourselves to new ways of experiencing and celebrating God's presence in our lives and in the life of the world, and sometimes in ways that we couldn't have imagined ourselves ever. And we open ourselves to becoming fuller versions of the people God created us to be, for the sake of the world that God so loves, enough to enter into in surprising and really life-giving ways. Most surprising, perhaps, being the child called Jesus, whose birth we await. So what surprises you? What do you wonder as you wander through this season? And how might God be showing up in your life in unexpected ways? Blessings to you in all your wondering and your wandering, wherever you are on your journey. Peace be with you.